session. Yeah, so really happy to have you guys with me today. And um, like we're gonna be, before we actually jump into in the midst of Midjourney, I would be wanting to like mention few little things, and then we're gonna be like, you guys can like talk a little bit about like how your mid journey. And I know that some of you guys been doing it for a longer time. Someone just started and already is creating awesome stuff. So cool. So um, for the something that I wanted to show a little bit is about the Nose Avenue competition, which we're very excited, and that's something that it's very cool because it's actually like something that it's been all pretty much every day, some new stuff coming in, and that is actually like really exciting. So I'll be just sharing my screen here that you can see, and we can just jump into that. So I will be doing the whole screen, and actually I probably need to do an application here. So I'll just do it here, and I wonder if you guys can see what's going on here. Yeah. So can you guys see these competition stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, me too.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, so as we can see here, like it's like really NOSA stuff going on, and there has been already like this also some like shop design, really cool as well. Some like taking inspiration from the fragments, very Apple headquarters style of thing. Some of these like very art gallery white space, and uh, actually actually like it would be fun to actually hear from you guys about this. So maybe like we actually jump into those introductions, and then you probably have seen these, or you can go and say something that you have been like, what been like something that you have seen. And if something is your own stuff, so then don't maybe mention that. Mention something that you're excited about someone else's design. So would be fun to hear that. So maybe Water for a Girl, that like your mid journey, like how long you've been using it then, uh because you've been doing awesome stuff already, but how long is that journey been?
Well, I started in summer and started very basic with some really basic stuff. And then, I don't know, it just evolved naturally. You're just curious to see what you can do next. You do one thing and it seems amazing, although it's very basic. And then you just want to discover the next step and the next step and the next step and so on. Dreamers really help me with the inspiration,
Yeah.
because I see a lot of stuff shared by some of our dreamers in the creator chat, in the main chat,
Yeah.
and it's inspiring. And you want to see what you can do with that and
Yeah.
what you can reach, what's the next level.
Yeah.
And for example, in the Noza Avenue channel right now, I have a few favorites. Of course, I think we all do. It's impossible not to, I think. Let's start with the top,
Yeah.
the Noza Tea Company. I mean, look at this. How in the world do you do something that looks so good and you can't do it in real life? You can't do it in physical world. I mean, maybe you can, but I can't imagine how. And the cost of it, I don't know. It looks amazing. What my question is, a burning question for me actually, because I haven't figured this out yet. How do you match the interior with the exterior? I usually start with the exterior. I have an idea for a building, how it would look outside, uh, features, facade, all sorts of things. And then when I want to do the interior, it's like I'm bumping into a wall. I have no idea how to do this, and maybe today we can figure it out because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are struggling with this. The interior matches the exterior to perfection. I have no idea how to do this.
I
Yeah.
don't think there's a prompt specifically that can do that now. The technology hasn't evolved to that point. So you can just basically put in a concept of what you imagine it to be. And then when you go to the next step of the creation project process, then you're going to start implementing that. So you just want to put an idea of what it looks like. And I'm with you. I've tried just about everything, and it's trial and error. And I've done pictures from the interiors first, and then kind of flipped it to the exterior. And you, you have to do a lot of working with the images and the styles to try and get something to match, and even into uh, the custom modes where you can circle a specific area and then type in what you want to pop in there. You have to have like the images ready
Yeah.
for the interior, and then you draw out that window, say this display window, and then you kind of try to blend it in. Like you really have to work with the images to get things going. I mean, it's definitely a learning curve, and I've even experimented with the different versions. So version 6 to 5 and all that stuff. So personally, I mean, I've just started learning this stuff, and I'm kind of gotten better. I've logged about over 1,000 images so far, and so I really feel now that I've kind of got the hang of it. So that and constantly learning and developing, and so
Yeah.
you kind of work at your system, and you work on your fundamental prompts, like set your prompt sets, and just start experimenting. And it's really fun when you start experimenting because you can use the Midjourney website um, for a lot of information. Like for instance, there's the contest weekly for Midjourney where you rate the images. That's very
Yeah.
valuable when
Yeah.
you're starting it. When you're starting it, it's very valuable because you get a $10 membership, and you can burn through those hours of time
Yeah.
very, very quickly. And that's kind of a bummer, right? Because you get into a flow state and you're really enjoying yourself and you're being creative, and you run out of time. So, that's because
Yeah.
your prompts aren't perfected. You haven't worked at your style. If you worked at your style, you're going to be more effective with your time, right? And so that takes, like I say, like you got to get like 1,000 images under your belt. Um, so
Yeah.
with that contest, thanks to Nick for pointing that out. It's just been a game changer for me because while I'm doing stuff, I have the Midjourney rate the images on the side,
Mm.
and when I'm doing some prompting in between while I'm waiting for the image to come through, I'll just click onto the other screen, rate a couple images, and cool. And also, while I'm rating the images, what's fun about it is I'm seeing different styles. I'm not just looking for Zara Hadid on Google and just typing in everything Zara Hadid, the architect.
Mm.
And I'm seeing examples from everything, like just an array of stuff. Like this morning, I saw a rabbit with mushrooms. Like there was a robot, and it was psychedelic, and I was like, "Wow, that's cool." I'll just type that into a building prompt and see what pops out. And whoa, look at that! So you're learning a lot by just going through the rating of the images, and you're seeing stuff that you not normally would expose yourself to if you're just looking for architectural prompts and so on and so forth. So and at the end of the day, if you rate 40 or 50 of them, you get an extra 2 hours, and away you go. So in the beginning, when you don't have your prompt sets worked out, your style worked out, it's a very valuable tool to go in and just rate the images, look at different styles, and you can see the different angles. And I when I see images when I'm rating them, I'll I'll look at them and say that's cool. What's cool about it? And I'll look at the prompt. The prompt's right underneath it, and I'll take bits of that prompt and I'll put it into whatever I want, a document. I've actually set up my own Discord for for this myself, so I'll save it and then I'll come back to it and then I'll start working that into prompts. So I really recommend the rate my image if you're just starting out because you're going to get your most out of your $10 a month. You're going to get exposure to all different kinds of styles. You're going to get all kinds of inspiration and stuff to play around with from really great images. So
And when did you get started? How long you been doing this, Just
not long.
yeah,
uh, yeah, not long at all. Like, look, I just took it seriously, like, and I just put aside like a weekend and just went kind of crazy on it. And so, about I'd say I've been doing it for like 2 months, just like really focusing on it. I would play dabbling around with it before, like I've had Midjourney,
mm,
because it's essential in this space. If we want to be building a metaverse,
yep,
we're going to need the tools, and without the tools, we're kind of defenseless. So, and to learn this, a lot of people are saying, okay, it's too much, it's overwhelming, and yes, it is. But when we join together and we have talks like this, we can work out different styles. We can use the creative category channel in the Discord here that we've set up. We
yep,
can go in there and talk it out, have discussions, share our prompts, share our ideas. Because ultimately, the prompts that we're creating are for cornerstones, so they're specific.
yep,
So, there's going to be a lot of Iceland mountainsides in the background. There's going to be a lot of nausea influence stuff, really fun stuff. So, when we nail those prompts down, I mean, it took me a long time just to get um, the mountainside in the background in front of
yeah,
the building, because I put in prompts and it just turned out to be some random city. And so you figure it out. You put in Iceland.
yeah.
You put in the background Icelandic green mountainside, and if you want it down by the beach, don't forget the black sand beach of um, the Icelandic black sand beach. And all these cool things pop up. So
Yeah, but that's actually very exciting that you've been only doing this for a few months and you're already nailing it. And it was so fun to see. Like I was just seeing when you guys were building together with Paranormal Joe and that was so cool. But it's like exciting. But like just looking at this stuff that you guys were creating in real time in the community, and I think that was very encouraging that in only a few months you're already mastering and doing all this cool stuff. And I think that is very encouraging for anyone who wants to participate on the competition, that hey, you can actually get started fast. And those were great tips about rating stuff and seeing, and that was a little bit similar when I got started. I just went to the Midjourney general channel, and um, for example, I just went there on the Midjourney server, and I just went to different general chats, and I was just browsing and checking like, okay, what is interesting there, and then I took the prompt and modified it a little bit and just made it somehow more cornerstone. But yeah, so what about you, Nick? Like, when did you get started? And your stuff has been also amazing.
Hey, so my journey has been maybe a little bit longer than 2 months. Um, in general, I've been working in the creative industry for over 10 years. So I started out as a professional photographer and videographer, like working on a lot of like global campaigns for like the biggest like companies in the world. And then over the years, I also built multiple like in-house CGI studios for agencies. And originally, the reason why I started to build in-house CGI studios was because I realized technology was coming to a point where you could generate beautiful, almost photorealistic images and use them in advertisement campaigns, and that allowed us to drastically cut the budgets and still get super high quality images, right? And then when in 2022, I first heard about DALI 2, which was the first generative image model that really gained popularity, released by OpenAI. I became one of their first beta users. So I was able to like test one of the early versions, and I started to really implement it in my creative workflows, in mostly coming up with concepts and using them on like pitch decks for clients and internally and all these kind of things as reference images. And obviously I tried at that time all the other models as well. Like Midjourney was also already out there. Stable Diffusion just came about. And at that point, I really thought DALI 2 was the best model out there. But then over the next few months, Midjourney really rapidly iterated and became better and better. So I almost exclusively switched over to Midjourney. So I don't know, I've been using this now for 2 years roughly, Midjourney. And for me personally, since I have such a creative background, especially in 3D image generation, photography, and videography, it really helps me to kind of apply my knowledge in how to prompt, because a lot of the things that I needed to do in the real world, like setting up the lighting and figuring out, do we need like a soft lighting? Do we need like a backlit scene, like a low-key lighting, or like more like a moody scene? All of these things you can almost verbalize and put them in the prompts, and you can really see differences in those prompts. So yeah, that has been kind of my journey. I've generated close to 10,000 images in Midjourney so far.
Oh wow.
So I'm also on the cheap, like on the lowest tier for the subscription, but I basically rank images every day, so I've never run out of credits really. So I feel like no one really talks about that, but that is almost like a cheat code. Right now, I think I have like 3 hours or something at least still left, and the tier is like 2 hours.
Oh wow.
It's a gold mine. It's really a cheat code.
I just wonder. I feel like at some point, everyone. I'm confused why not everyone is doing it, right? So at some point, if everyone were doing it, then they probably would need to stop doing it. But I think up to that point, we just need to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fear that too. I sit there going, when is everyone going to find it? And we're not going to be getting these every day. We're going to be clicking for the entire day because it's so gamified. But no, it's consistently. If I click on like 50 or 60 images, I'm going to get the free hours.
Oh yeah,
And
like usually
it's
5
easy.
minutes, constantly
It's
doing.
easy.
Yeah.
And like I say, if you're learning and you're clicking on the image and you're looking with intent to find gems, it's easy.
Yeah,
You enjoy
valuable.
it.
Yeah, that's
Totally.
amazing.
So wait, you guys are getting 2 hours every day? Because I'm only getting
1 hour. 1.
1 hour,
But
okay.
you can do it every day, right?
Not
And then,
stressed.
So how many?
felt bad.
How long you need to rate, like, or to actually like? I need to confess that I have the middle plan, and I'm not rating, so I need to start probably rating too. But how long you need to rate to get that those hours?
50.
Okay, so that's fast.
around 50.
Just-
Yeah, and meanwhile you're doing
You
it.
have to rank. You need to be one of the 2,000 most active rankers on that day to get the hour.
Okay.
Which basically shows that not many people are actually using that feature, because if you do it like constantly and sit down for 5 minutes, that's almost enough, probably even less.
Okay, so all the dreamers are gonna be the top rankers there. So nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a great tip that you actually only can get started with that 10 euro. Is it now? Is there some free trial, or is it like do you need to pay right away?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah,
pay.
Yeah.
that was my mistake.
In the beginning, in the beginning, they used to have, I don't know, like 50 or 100 free image generations, and then after that, you needed to pay, but they no longer have that due to the high demand of the service.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used that for a while and then suggested to other people to go and try the free trial, and it wasn't available anymore.
Oh, okay. So it was just only just a limited offer, but yeah. But I didn't hear from Jazz. Like, what are you excited? Like, which one you're excited about currently? Cannot be yours. So which one? Like, mention one from the Nose Avenue competition chat that you think it's like very interesting and cool.
Honestly, I like them all. They all have their own certain styles, and there's so much variety in here. It's fantastic, and it's someone's dream.
Yeah.
And we want to make it come true. And I like the gamer idea there that's on the screen, because we need some gamer gear on the island, and
Yeah.
just being creative. I love just sitting there thinking all of these shop ideas, because it's not like the concept behind Nas Avenue is luxury retail shopping, right? And so that does include gamer gear or high-end fashion or just random stuff. Maybe we have a companion pet story and dress up your companions in the future. Just like right there, that's the steampunk, another different, a completely different take on it, right? Because steampunk's popular. All this cyberpunk, all these different punk styles are in the metaverse. So why should we limit it to just ultra super luxury stuff? Like, yeah, you know, you can have steampunk super luxury, you can have cyberpunk super luxury, you can have whatever is in the metaverse that you can think of. You can make that into like a retail store because there's people out there that love that stuff, and that's what we're trying to find. We're trying to get people to interact and show what they love, what store they want to walk into, and put it on I mean, this street should just not. It should be full of flavors.
Yeah.
Full of
Yeah, no,
flavors.
I
Full
love
of
it.
fun. It should be fun.
Yeah. What about you,
And what I
Nick?
love about yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I like the idea with the wave. I thought that was pretty creative. The Notion Ocean Rider.
Yep.
And it was also pretty cool how the interior matched the exterior. So that one definitely stood out to me.
Yeah, that was fun when I saw,
I
and
thought,
I think it's with the is that Keanu Reeves?
yeah,
It looks like Keanu Reeves doing
it looks like it. Yeah,
yeah, doing surfing. So definitely would want to go surfing in the metaverse with Keanu. So that for
yeah.
sure, he seems like a nice guy.
I
So
thought maybe we could ask if there are any additional questions like in the audience
true.
regarding like workflows,
Yeah.
and then we can maybe try to answer them, because I have also, just to answer like Waterfall Girl, your answer regarding matching the interior to the exterior. There's some like really good practices in how you can quite consistently transfer the style from one image to another one. So then maybe once we have a bunch of questions, then we can maybe go through them, and each of us can maybe explain how we would solve for that question, or what our experience has been.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to point out quickly too that my learning process. I mean, I've been sharing every video that I've learned from in the lab learning in the Discord. So as I was getting better, I'm actually posting the videos that I've learned from. And when we learn from you today about hopefully some helpful hints about bringing the interior and the exterior, merging them together, we'll post that there too. So, I mean, we have our own cheat sheet going on in Cornerstone for people that want to get involved in this. It's just right there, how to get up to speed, what to do. It's all in these creative channels, and that's what they're there to utilize.
Yeah, I learned a lot from your tutorials, from everything you shared. I think I watched them all, a couple of them twice. One of them was referring to the differences between prompting for Midjourney 5.2 and 6. Apparently there are differences, and I noticed that when you are very factual about things in Midjourney 6, it gives better results, like less metaphors and less poetic descriptions, and more factual. This is a store. This is a, I don't know, art gallery. Then you put the inspiration, if you have one, the architect, the style, but like very, very factual, not with commas, but with dots and separate sentences. Is this true? Did you notice that it gives better results if it's used like this?
Yeah, I mean, one of the updates that they made from 5.2 to 6 was a better language understanding. So as where you see like a lot of the prompts in 5.2, it's almost like multiple short like descriptors or keywords tied together. In 6.2, the model is actually able to dissect proper sentences and understand context a lot better. So you can almost describe a scene and mention multiple like specifics about the image, and the model should be able to better represent the actual like prompt. And their goal is essentially that it becomes a lot more like natural language, the way how you can interact and communicate with the model. So your finding is correct, I would say.
I find that in the new version 6, you can actually, Waterfall Girl, you can just talk like you normally do and just talk your big dreams right into the prompt, and they'll come to life. Like the grander, the just you can really just go big with your dream, typing it in. You can just be very grand, very um, you can explain it as well as you can, and it's just yeah, you can
Yeah.
be more expressive.
And something that I'm extremely excited about this all, and why I think it's so relevant and important, is that there has been, for example, already the talks, and I think it was the CEO of Midjourney, like the stable diffusion CEO already mentioned that earlier, and he's the timeline of creating these entire 3D models and even 3D environments. So where I see this all going is that actually you will be prompting these entire buildings, and you'll be prompting entire mini games that happens in the surfing shop. So that will be coming, and it's always hard to give timelines on anything, but that's why we are doing this, is that we would be getting to a point that we like actually like really get that creativity going, and we would be ready. And now it's still some manual steps like the kadims and all that, but like all that, like that's why this is so exciting. But there was a question from Halilable that do you guys have any tips on optimizing efficiency for time and queries as you revise your prompts? So anyone feels like answering for this?
So, I mean, I think this is one of the things that's really standing out to me, that out of my own experience, it happens so easily with Midjourney that I spend hours just kind of optimizing an image. And in a way, it's kind of funny because in the beginning, I thought it would save me a lot of time compared to like building a 3D scene myself in Cinema 4D and then rendering it out. But a lot of the time, it actually takes quite a lot of time. So because almost like you never get exactly the result that you want, so you need to optimize it and perfect it for so long to get to a point where you're really happy with, right? That being said, there are definitely ways in how to be more efficient, and I would say one of the most useful things are things called permutation prompts, and those permutation prompts within Midjourney, they allow you with a single command to essentially run up to, I think, 40 different jobs at the same time, and you can specify certain aspects of the prompt that have multiple variations, and you can run them all at the same time. So this is definitely helping to just kind of get started and to like get a shit ton of prompts out there, and then pick and work off the one that you really liked. I can really recommend the documentations by Midjourney. I specifically posted the permutations documentations in here, because it's like super valuable, and a lot of people, they don't really talk about these things or they don't use them, but that is like the first thing that comes to my mind to optimize and be more efficient when it comes to prompting.
That's really cool. And how many like do you guys, when you start doing, like, do you have some different variations running always on the side, and you're picking, and how is the process like when Jazz, like when you do it, like how many jobs you have there going on in the same time?
Well, it's increasing. Actually, this morning I was just like, I was just going prompt and job crazy. I'm like, how many of these things are going at the same time? It escalates pretty quickly. It's kind of fun. It's just you show yourself progressing because you're just doing more and more, faster and faster, because you're really working that image, right? So you want to just see all the adjustments and pick the best one and get going through it. But for speed and stuff, just presetting your prompt, like you can set a certain, you can create your own prompt that actually adds your what you want. So for instance, I have one, I just put dash, and I just put gas. And so I type in what I want the building to look like, and when I put in jas, it automatically adds in how I want, like hyper realistic, the aspect ratio, and all the stuff that I want to see, that I know is consistent with all my images. So wherever I have consistent in all my images, I put that into a custom prompt. So I just have to type in building made of, Noza crystals, and then I put dash dash dash, and the rest is automatically filled in. So you can make a bunch of these prompts for different categories of what you're doing. Like you can do multiple ones, and it just makes life a lot easier.
No, that's amazing tips. So maybe you just write that out also for the learning lab, because that's actually amazing. So you get that, like all those, like,
Yeah,
not to need to do it
and the
manually.
videos in there. I mean, it's really time saving. You want to save time and be turning it more prompts, like you say.
Yep.
That those presets are just invaluable, and you can do multiples. So I just do it really easy. Like I mean, I've even done some. It's just dash dash J because it's that much faster. Just a letter. I don't care. I just pick a letter in the alphabet, and I know that that letter is um, detailed, hyper realistic, cinematic, 16:9
Well,
every time. I
yeah,
know I don't have to rewrite that every time.
yeah.
So what I focus on is the end of the prompt. So with that too, you'll add in lighting and all the stuff that you like, right? And then the only time you need to change that if you want to mess around with it. But for the most part, the end of it. So I just work on your end of your prompt, and then the rest is, and then the start of it is just your fun stuff.
That's really
It's
cool.
quick.
Yeah. What about Water for a
I put a
Girl?
video in there.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what about Water for a Girl? When you get started, do you start with the very heavy prompt and start taking stuff out and modifying, or do you go first easier and start adding more stuff to it?
I do both.
Yeah.
Sometimes I start easy and add stuff depending on what's missing in the images. And other times I have a particular image in mind and I try to explain it to Midjourney very detailed, and then I get something that has absolutely nothing to do with what I asked, and I start taking stuff out. That's another thing. If you have a very, very particular vision in mind, uh, never expect, never, I mean, it never happened to me to have it, get it back from Midjourney exactly as you envisioned it. It just never works. Actually, sometimes it works better if you just put a few things, for me at least, a few things, and then just pick one of the four and work on that and ask for versions, or edit a particular part in the image that you want to edit and change. But with very, very detailed prompts, it's usually kind of hard to get what you want, because I noticed that Midjourney is focusing on the first part of the prompt, and then the rest is like you have 5 keywords that you can find in the images. In 4 images that you get as results, you can find any of them in any of the images. So it's tricky, but with a process of trial and error, you're gonna get there.
Yeah, nice. What about you,
If
Nick? When you have been on the, like, doing long time and long career in the CGI industry and all that, and you know that there with certain time of hours you can get for any results what you want. But what about Midjourney? Like, have you found any workarounds or tips how to get into exact thing, or is it still a little bit almost there?
I I have a pretty like straightforward or standard approach every single time I try to like create a new image, and it's consistent of essentially 4 parts. So I always use four in the beginning, 4 different approaches in how I prompt Midjourney, and then based on that, I essentially go with the version that I prefer the most or mix them up. And the first one is I use the describe feature in Midjourney, and so if you do like dash or like the slash describe, and you can upload reference images and ask Midjourney to describe it, and then you can run all of the prompts at the same time. So that's usually 4. So that already gives me 4 prompts, which means like 4 times 4, you know. And so I already have 16 images that I can pick from. Then the second one is I go on the Midjourney Explore page and I use the search function and I search for architecture or something that describes the image I plan to create in more detail. And I go through all the examples And then you can click on examples and further search images based on that image within Midjourney. And then I usually just copy like the prompts from them and run them myself and kind of see what the outcome is, because like if you copy the prompt never perfectly, like the outcome of that prompt never perfectly matches the image that you like. So that gives me another 4 examples that I can pick from. Then the number 3 is I go on let's say Pinterest or just Google Images, and I search for architecture or whatever like describes the scene that I want to create, and I copy that image, and then I use ChatGPT and I upload the image in ChatGPT and say something like, "Hey, describe the image in 3 sentences in detail, in as much detail as possible, that someone else will be able to perfectly recreate that image." And I just take that text and use it as a prompt and run it as well. That usually gives you extremely good results, better than even like the describe feature within Midjourney. And then the last thing I do is I look for images that are also already pretty close to the results that I want on Pinterest, on Arch Daily, on any like website, even Instagram. And I use them in 2 different ways in my prompt. And so one is like the what is it, the HDS, this one. This one is essentially like a parameter that takes that image as a style parameter and can apply that to the image. And the other one is just straight up posting the link of that image before your prompt as an image reference. So these are like the 4 steps that I always take in the beginning. And then based on that already gives me like, I don't know, like 30, 40 images. And then I can kind of, based on that, I can go in the direction that is already the closest to where I want to go. And usually during the process, I already get additional inspiration from Midjourney, and then I combine multiple of these versions. So this is how I usually work.
Nice, really cool.
Oh,
What about Jazz? Like you mentioned one time to me that you have been also using ChatGPT in a creative way of doing prompts. Like maybe you tell a little bit about that.
yeah, I'm a little bit different. I'm a maniac. I got all things going at the same time. So, I mean, I use the Explore feature on the ChatGPT website too while I'm doing the rating,
Yep.
and I can find a lot of great images in that. Like you can type in architecture stuff. I've typed in like high-end luxury fashion showroom. Type in that and search. All these images come up. Then you take that image, you put it into Discord, and you hit describe. And when it describes it in Discord, and it gives you 4 options to recreate the image. So from those 4 options, you can either run one yourself and start working with that image, or you can take some of the words out of those prompts, and then work them into your prompt as well. So that's pretty cool. Or I'll take a couple of images and then blend them together. I'll search all kinds of stuff on Google, and I'll take the images. I do a lot of blending, and because some really wild stuff comes out, like some really cool stuff, like just even down to like you take a brand that you love and look up you look up their head location, like their showpiece location, and you take that as inspiration, because they always have great architects working on these custom amazing things. So you take that image and you blend it with something else and see what comes out of it, and describe it, take some of the words out. Like you're constantly working these images to find really cool stuff. ChatGPT, it's amazing. Just for ideas.
Yep.
Like if you want to put in something, if you type in create a prompt, just put create a prompt for, and or create prompts for, and it will shoot at 10 or 15 of them. And then there's the starter image right there. You take one of those options, you put it in, and then you put in your preset prompt stuff on the end of it, and something cool will come out of it. And because it's so descriptive, ChatGPT puts words and sentences together that I could not come up with. I'm not an amazing writer, or I'm a great dreamer, but I can't articulate it onto paper, right? But ChatGPT can. And so by all intents and purposes, ChatGPT is an amazing thing. A lot of people are scared of it. It's going to take over the world. It probably is, because it's a great tool. And all these things, Midjourney is a great tool. ChatGPT is a great tool. The all when you put them all together, you have a toolbox. It's just amazing. You can do like this. The world that we're going into is going to be amazing because we have so many powerful tools that just save us so much time.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think, and what I'm seeing also in the industry in general, that it's just getting into this, that there was this huge amount of roles that you needed to have to run certain functions, but it's coming more and more into this that people with good dreams actually, and who can even though they couldn't beforehand create those themselves, but now with the mid journey, and it becomes this art curation creation, and then exactly like the narrative, so it comes more the imagination creativity, it just comes more and more important. And also same time it will be extremely important that you actually, when all people will have these tools in their hands, and we're now part of these early adapters really taking advantage of these tools, but then later on it's going to get to a point where almost anyone uses them through some apps and all that stuff. So then it comes into that curation, that who knows that what actually is cool, what does it work in when it's in a certain part of the metaverse, what does resonate. And it's that like tiny thing when you go to some super nice coffee place and it's that perfect. It's not just the one that was made Starbucks, that was made with a huge budget, but it's something like so special that they really understand and has the perfect vibe and everything. So a little bit of that coming into these things. But then actually, as we're moving forward now, I'll let you guys also tell, but I will be just showing here that we will be having this Midjourney cheat sheet, what we are gonna be posting on there, and I'm gonna just show you a little bit of that. Um, so so if you can see my screen here, so we'll be having this. Let's see. Okay, so it's not actually showing it. Or are you guys seeing it? No, no.
Yep.
Oh, you guys are seeing it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because for me, for some reason, as I'm doing the recording same time, it's not really liking it. But yeah, good that you guys are seeing it. But we're not gonna go through the whole thing here. But there's just some good examples. You can just copy paste. There's some street photography. There's for the product photography, fashion, documentary, just explaining a little bit of these different type of styles. There's the architectural photography and how to make it cinematic, landscape. So there's some cornerstone vibes. Some guy went fishing trying to get his aquatic. It's not that easy that way. Just a poor fisherman thinking it's so easy to get the avis. Food photography. This is something that I haven't seen yet from the Dreamers, and it's actually it's an interesting concept how the food is actually going to be functioning in the metaverse in general, because we don't need that in the metaverse. It's but does in somehow people actually want to still have it. I have no idea. That will people for the nostalgic reasons or some other reasons want to have certain food, and it's probably going to be a little bit different. And what does functionality that will be in the metaverse, don't know, but would love to see some ideas around that. um but yeah, like
For
this.
food?
Yeah.
I mean, if you go into a digital restaurant and your avatar eats that food, maybe that if the food's not so healthy, it doesn't give you so much added energy boost.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
Or
exactly
you
like.
can have just, or you can just have noza chips and you get some energy boost.
Okay.
Also chips, I love it.
I know, good
That's
ideas
awesome.
coming up. So maybe those can be on the Nosa Cafe. Also some Nosa chips, and but yeah, like exactly. And this is also the a little bit like going a little bit deeper on that, like why we're wanting to build this cornerstone metaverse in a sense that and we're gonna be giving and passing more of these physics and everything and through the nose and all that, and you guys been picking up it so well and all that and coming up with those concepts, and because it has a little bit of that what the physical world has, that we have the certain physics and certain rules that this world is running by and what the humans need, air and food and liquids and all that to survive. So we want to provide those, and then it's for the dreamers to come up with all the cool stuff. So, but exciting to hear about those already. Brain starting to get into motion. But yeah, just about this. So so there's the guide. So like for example, you want to create some type of dreamer picture, you can get those going. If you, I would love to see someone doing companion with the wildlife, companion photography, all that. Even some sports. There hasn't been that much virtual sports happening yet, but like all of these stuff. So there is gonna be this guide. We're gonna be posting that to the creative lab and or learning lab, and you'll be seeing this there. So, but it's like really exciting in that sense. So. Uh, so you will be able, and then there is like for the text prompts like motion, so there is some ideas that how you can put like different type of speeds in the pictures, about the director, like who, like some famous directors, their styles and all that. So it's gonna be like lots of different stuff, and but I'm not gonna go through this whole thing, but maybe just a question for you guys, like maybe Nick, like how much these type of things, like do you, for example, with the camera angles, for example, is it something that you always prompt that in, and or do you let the Midjourney to choose that?
A good question. I would say I almost never use these things. In the beginning, I definitely did. But to me, it's not like predictable enough yet that I would say, because a lot of the time you have a scene, and then you change the camera angles, and it changes the camera angles in such a way that really works for you. But then you completely, let's say you go from a portrait shot, you go to an architecture shot, and then suddenly the effects of the same parameter are so drastically different that I often don't find as much value in them as I thought it would. So a lot of the time for me, it's more like a brute force kind of approach, where it's more like, okay, I just prompt in the beginning as much as I can, and then I kind of go over a direction that gets the closest to how I visualize it in my mind. But to be honest, I've also not really explored too much yet with all of these different parameters and like different shot angles and all of these things. I definitely think things like like saying, okay, I'll use a 77 or like millimeter lens versus like a 24 millimeter lens really gives you different results depending on how close you want to zoom onto the subject. Also, using different camera styles, out of my experience, gives you quite different approaches. Like, you want to go for a landscape, more like a landscape image. Like usually, like having Canon in there really helps. You want to go for product photography, saying, oh, shoot it with a Hasselblad or like a phase one camera is really helpful. Like these things can definitely help quite a lot. But to me, I think I think these things are super valuable and they have a huge impact. It's just that my personal workflow, I feel like I don't have enough time to really use all of these things. So it's, for me, it's in the beginning, it's more like a brute force approach, and then kind of going with whatever is gets the closest to where I want to be. Especially since often for me the images are more used as a mood or reference image, and not like in production. Like I would not use that for like in a global campaign. I would use it to use as a reference image to brief a photographer or to brief like a 3D designer or something like that. But yeah, that's just my personal experience how I'm using it.
Yeah, what about you, Chaz, have you been using these different camera angles and stuff, or do you let the Midjourney
Oh,
to choose?
yeah, I mean, you want to experiment with all these things, but for all intents and purposes, for the contest and just designing for Nose Avenue, you only need to really nail down a couple different camera angles, right?
Yeah.
Just show a picture of architecture to enter. I mean, like I say, like this is so Midjourney and all the different prompt styles can be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's you just got to focus on what am I trying to create. Experiment with a couple different, like 3 or 4 different moods or 3 different camera angles. Find the right ones that you think are cool from, like I say, searching through images and seeing what those prompts are using, what prompts they're using, and then work it into your style. And then yeah, you could put I put the viewing angle into my images for like say this contest, just like a perspective street view, or straight on. You can just you don't need all these other fancy views. You don't need bird's eye. You don't need to learn all these different things. They're cool to check out, but for just designing for the contest and is you only need a couple things. So it's just don't be overwhelmed by hearing all these different things. If you want to enter in the contest, it's pretty easy. We can help you out. And the whole objective here is like what we're doing in this contest is we're trying to inspire people to just see what's possible, like just see the creativity and see the fun things that's going on, and that's going to bring in more dreamers, and that's going to bring in start growing our community. So we don't need all these super professional images. We just need stuff to, like you say, um, you look at and go, wow, that's cool. I'd like to do a cyberpunk store like that one day in the metaverse. Just get the juices going and the brain and the dreams flowing, and that's what we need to see. And we need to start creating images not just for Nas Avenue. We need to start as a community just putting in images of all the fun stuff we want to see in Cornerstone, like the outfits. Like Nick does some amazing outfits. The dreamers floating off into the island, just showing what's possible. Because the next stage is then we create it from the image, and then we're going to learn that together too, right? So this community, we're just going to go from the start and work our way right through the process until we're actually seeing this working in Cornerstone.
Yeah, and something like mentioning it again, and maybe if you ask very kindly, Jazz might even on the creator chat then go and ping him, and he might actually, I don't promise anything for you, but it might be that he actually start designing for you, and you just come with the idea. But like something that is cool that in the future, like and our devs have been even looking into that how do we do these manual fragment drops, so meaning that there would be dreamer to dreamer transaction with fragments. So if you just nicely put something, or some other dreamer actually builds you something, so maybe then in the future you can tip with fragments. So that will be a cool way to even
Yeah.
hit the economy started.
I mean, that's like what you saw with Paranormal Joy. He's a fantastic guy. He's a great community member. He's just so exciting to see him in the Discord. I mean, to help him out was no problem at all. That's what community is all about, right? He didn't have the subscription set up. That's fine. I do. And like we were talking about earlier, I have all these free credits from liking images. No problem. You know, I'm not here like I don't have to create 40,000 images. This is not my career. I'm doing stuff for the contest and that, but all these extra hours I can use to help a dreamer with. And in the future and stuff, to buy extra hours is about $8 for 2 hours. So, I mean, in the future, if somebody wants to buy 2 hours and not sign up, I mean, people can work out some kind of deal like that. Transfer $8 and buy 2 hours worth of time for you, and I'll do the prompts for you.
Yeah, exciting. There's
I
actually,
think I think this
yeah,
like this guide, I think it will be like super valuable in the sense that it really shows people the possibilities of Midjourney, right? I think a lot of the times people don't even have the imagination to imagine what this is already capable today. So I think what would be super valuable for, especially for people who get new into Midjourney, is to post these images also on top of the guide itself individually into the channel, where people can copy and paste the prompts directly from the channel, right? and then people can just, maybe we can have a channel with like super strong images of from all different directions. Somehow they may be organized in architecture and any other kind of photography examples, like kind of how you have it here. And then people can copy and paste the prompts and use these as a starting point. This will almost also allow us to curate a certain aesthetic within Cornerstone already. So I think this would be super valuable for new people, like just getting started and using that as a jumping like point, like to kind of start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all there. We have the Learning Labs forum channels. We have all that stuff to be posting in there regularly. If we find good stuff, post it in there. So like you say, it's not going to be very difficult for a new dreamer to come in. If they're in the Discord server, they can just go into these channels. They can copy and paste the prompts because, hey, we're all on the same team. We're all trying to create this island together. So if you want to borrow the prompts and we have them all look amazing, go for it. Put your spin on any of these prompts and let's start making this island. You know, that's what's fun. It doesn't have to be that difficult because we're going to put it all of these creative channels for it to be easy for people to participate and have fun. And just go read Joey's comments. How happy he was when he saw some of those images come up.
Yeah.
I mean, this happiness. That's what it's all about, right? That's just what it's all about.
Yeah.
Sharing our dreams and our joy and our passions and our enthusiasm and helping each other to do something inspiring and incredible together, you know, and that's what we're trying to do here. And I forgot my other point. I think I was going to mention something about ChatGPT. Remember I mentioned earlier I saw an image with like a rabbit robot and these magical mushrooms floating all around, and I was like, okay. So I typed that into ChatGPT. Now, if you could think that I could come up with these prompts, you're out of your mind. First of all, I'm not into mushrooms or psychedelics or anything like that. That was a long time ago, if anything. But here's one. So I typed that in. It's like, embark on a psychedelic voyage. Explore our collection inspired by vibrant mushroom kingdoms and futuristic robots. I can't write that.
Wow, that's wild. Yeah.
Right? The next one. Step into a realm of techno-organic fashion where psychedelic art meets cybernetic and elegant. Come on.
That sounds like
No way I'm thinking
Fabricant.
of that. I probably need magic mushrooms to think of that.
Yeah, that
Right? There's
that probably
no
doesn't
way.
work without or a lot of Noza at least. Like,
Yeah, because my brain goes, oh, create a robot rabbit fashion brand with psychedelic highlights and blah 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 with big showroom windows and inspired by some brand. Can you do that for me, please? And it comes out terrible. You punch these prompts in. Indulge in opulent psychedelic couture where organic patterns merge with robotic intricacies in a mid-journey of style. You put that prompt in front of the ones that you saved, you're coming out with bangers. Incredible.
yeah, so all of these, like, there's so many ways, and this like so exciting, and the metaverse is all about like doing that great stuff that you cannot do in the physical world. But as our time is running out. So, but I have a little surprise for a few guys here. As we have been adding a few new roles, and we actually got the first ambassador. That was, does anyone remember the name? Who got into as a first ambassador? Who invited 5 people? Something Shark. Oh,
Life Shark.
yes, Life Shark was the first one to get the on that invitation competition, getting into 5 invited members. So really cool. Yeah, and but then we also have another role, which is Legends of Cornerstone, which means that you have done something extremely significant for the project. And we actually have quite many of the legends here. So it's a very exclusive role. It doesn't come easy. There is not certain things, but there has been Lil Level and Jazz has been on that role, like doing huge effort and help for like helping out with all kinds of things and being very active members in the community and helping and welcoming people. But not just that, but also like always offering help in anything what we've been needing. And but now also like MCG and Nick, I just wanted to add you guys into that category, like MCG, like doing those buildings and all that and participating even on the architectural plans of everything. And same thing with Nick, you've been just like always inspiring, and also like with even with all the companion concepts and all that, like you've been doing this amazing stuff. So really privileged to have you guys, have legends among us, and maybe we even carve your companions or your dreamers to the cliffs of the cornerstone. So really
That's
really
amazing.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually I think MCG and Nick were legends in my eyes before I even became a legend in here. So it's great. We're all in good company here, and we're all excited to be here. And we're all excited for the dreams ahead of us. And it's been a you know a bit of a roller coaster at times, but we always believed in Cornerstone, and we sorted it out and we keep going forward. And that's I think we got some really good opportunities coming up. We got some amazing things in the works, and there are people that are listening out there. You don't might not see it all in the main Discord, but there's a lot of people working really hard in the background all day long, and we're putting our heart and soul into it. And it's a lot to be done. And there's people. Don't worry, we're working on it, and we're gonna get there. We believe, right?
Yeah, and it's a culture, and that has been like initially, like since the beginning, we wanted to build Cornerstone that the culture is not something that we implement some type of existing IP or ideas in, but it's actually a blank canvas, and this is exactly what this is about. It's about like creating these dreams and creating cool stuff that, and the collaboration, and that's something that we really believe in. And like the metaverse, what it can be, it can be an exciting creative place, or it can go all wrong, and we want to be building that seventh kingdom that actually is something where people help each other out and do creative stuff and do awesome stuff, because that's going to be the metaverse where people want to spend time at. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for joining in and all the tips and comments. And this was exciting, and we'll be adding this record on the new recording channel. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and everyone who's going to be listening this through the recording. But thanks, guys, and
Yeah, thank
see you
you.
on
And
the
don't
next
don't
one.
forget to check out the creative category and the creative channels. We'll all
Yes,
start sharing and collaborating and dreaming together.
yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, and
Thank
see you
you.
in the chat, dreamers.
Yes, see
Yeah.
you.